Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is my review of Arsenal's victory last night against Leicester City. The final score being 3-1. Whew, absolutely fantastic second half once again. Reminiscent of that game against Fulham. The goals we scored were each as good as the last. It was really great stuff from Arsenal. Not so much in the opening 30-35 minutes. It was a real back to the wall sort of job against Leicester City, which it shouldn't have been. We did make this game a lot more difficult for ourselves than it should have been at times. Harry Maguire having that fantastic chance and Ben Chilwell getting that goal as well to make things a little bit more difficult for us. But again, resolute throughout the course of the game. That goal before half-time from Mesut Ozil, who was absolutely scintillating throughout the course of this match. It was a real exciting performance from Arsenal. I'll get into the goals in a little bit, but the team lineup, first thing to address. It was interesting to see that we stuck with Henrik Mkhitaryan on the right hand side. I think if there's one player in this Arsenal team that I don't want to say is underperforming, Mkhitaryan I thought worked really hard last night. He just doesn't really seem to have a great deal of confidence at the minute. We know what a class player he is when he's playing well. When he first came into the team, putting some really good performances, but now I think he's starting to just wane a little bit. I do think it's a case of I'd like to see Aubameyang come in instead of Mkhitaryan and see him play from the start, because he's coming on and he's scoring goals. I mean, he hasn't even played about an hour of football and he's scored 4 goals off the bench already in the past couple of games. If he was to play from the start, whether it be on the flank, whether it be through the middle, he's a player that is going to guarantee us goals and in my opinion would be a better outlet than someone like Mkhitaryan, who I just think is lacking a little bit going forward. Not to say he's played badly. I think he's a very tidy player, very safe player, but I don't think he offered the same level as some of the players around him last night. Iwobi, on the other hand, who played on the opposing flank on that left-hand side, was absolutely sensational once again. He really seems to have bulked up. He's really strong, really athletic, really fast as well. I didn't realise how much pace he had. Seems to be holding off players. His skill, his dribbling is fantastic. He's not afraid to take on a man. He actually gets past players with absolute ease, picks up perfect passes, and the transformation of Alex Iwobi is mainly down to confidence, but as well, he just seems to have a whole different work ethic, a different mentality, a different approach. It's great to see such a young guy really enjoying his football and being, I think, a nailed-on starter now. He's certainly a player that I don't want to see dropped if he is going to keep up this run of form, because he really has been one of the shining lights to come out of this Arsenal team so far this season. And as well, 10 wins on the bounce. That shouldn't be underestimated, despite who we've played. We've played some teams that you would expect Arsenal to beat, but again, 10 wins, home and away, is not something to be sniffed at, and it's impressive for any team to do. The first time we've done it in 11 years, which shows you just how stagnant we've been over the past decade or so. So it's really good to see Arsenal do that. We've got another winnable game coming up on Thursday night against Sporting, and after that Crystal Palace. 2 you should see winnable fixtures, and then after that is the big test against Liverpool. But the first thing we have to address is the opening 30 minutes, because it is quite worrying. I don't want to shed too much of a negative light, but if we do give away the chances that we did give away last night against a team like Liverpool, then we won't have the opportunity to claw the game back and win it in the end, because although I think we're always going to score in every match we play at the minute, the way we're giving away chances is really worrying. I don't think it's just the defence that's a problem. I think it's the whole lethargic start we seem to have. I don't know why it is, and I'm not sure what Emery's going to do to change that, but we have to start games with a lot more blitz about us. We have to be starting these games a lot faster. At the minute, we're just not doing that, and it is costing us chances. Leicester City could have quite easily gone 2-0 up, and the game at that point could have been beyond our reach, which is worrying. But I do really see a partnership forming between Mustafi and Holding. They seem to be performing really well, and it was interesting to note that there was no Monreal Kolasinac, who missed the game through precaution. Which was, I'm surprised that there wasn't at least one of them featured on the bench at least. Lichtsteiner started at left back, and if I'm being brutally honest, I think he struggled throughout the course of this match. I don't think he was necessarily poor, but I don't think he was particularly amazing. I don't think he offered much going forward. I think he struggled at times defensively, but he was relatively solid for the most part. He wasn't tested too much on that left-hand side of the pitch, which was a blessing really, because if he had been, I don't know if he'd have been able to cope with it all that well. But the defence is looking, as each game goes by, a little bit more assured. It's just that opening 30 minutes is not just the defence, as I say. The whole team just doesn't really seem to get going. There seems to be a lack of chemistry, but then that chemistry really comes alive throughout the course of the game, as we saw in that second half in particular. Mesut Ozil was, of course, the star man yesterday, bagging that goal before half-time. Fantastic goal as well. With Bellerin with another assist, he seems to be doing brilliant work on that right-hand side, making amends for the own goal that he scored earlier on in the game, which was unfortunate. I mean, you would expect Leonard to do better on that, but he was caught off balance. Having watched it back, Chilwell with a rather fortunate effort, which went past the goalkeeper to make it 1-0 to Leicester. But we responded really well. As I say, we got that goal through Mesut Ozil before half-time, and then in that second half, the introduction of Guendouzi and Aubameyang. It wasn't just Aubameyang that made the difference. Guendouzi, when he came on for his spell, was absolutely scintillating. He was brilliant, spraying the ball about, always looking to pass it forwards, really energetic, a really composed and mature performance from someone so young. Really have to praise Matteo Guendouzi because he was fantastic when he came on last night. But Aubameyang as well with the goals. Each goal was absolutely sensational. Every single one got me off my seat. I say every single one, just these two in particular, within 3 minutes of each other. The first one, absolutely brilliant work from Mesut Ozil, again playing the through ball into Hector Bellerin. You don't get an assist for that, but that is, if not more important than the assist itself. Bellerin with a perfectly weighted ball into the path of Aubameyang to make it 2-1. Brilliant goal. But the team goal that came after this was absolutely brilliant as well. Almost every single player on the pitch involved in the build-up to the goal. Granit Xhaka, interestingly, moved to left-back, who I thought actually did really well there, which was a bit of an odd move from Emery, but it was a tactical decision that paid off really well in the end. As I say, every player practically involved in the build-up to this goal. Mesut Ozil leaving the ball for, I think it was Lacazette, who then played it back into the path of Mesut Ozil and then back across to Aubameyang. The chemistry and the understanding within this team is the best it's been in absolutely ages, and it just shows what hard work does on the training ground does when it comes to actually playing in a proper football match. It was brilliant. The understanding, as I say, is next level. I haven't seen that type of football from Arsenal in some time, and the fact we're doing it on a consistent basis, we've scored a lot of good goals this season, a lot of team goals, and that's something that I don't think we were doing last season. We had some fantastic speculative individual efforts from certain players, but the fact that the team is working so well, there's such cohesion, and we're working as such a unit, it's really positive. And whatever happens this season, the football is improving. I don't think anyone can deny that. At times, as I say, in the opening 30 minutes, it is a bit shaky, but for the most part, the football is the best it's been in a long while, and that's really exciting. As I say, we've got that game coming up against Lisbon on Thursday night. Win that, it'll be 11 wins in a row, and then if we can make it 12 against Palace, that'll be absolutely fantastic, heading into that massive game against Liverpool. But we do have to be a bit more resolute at the back. I'm confident that we will be. We've got players like Monreal, Kolasinac, Socrates coming back into the fold, even Koscielny's coming back now, Maitland-Niles. So we've won that game last night with quite a few absentees, and I'm feeling very positive about what's to come. And it showed last night that although Aaron Ramsey scored that fantastic goal against Fulham, that we can win games without a player of his ability, which I think is confidence boosting given the situation that's going on around him at the minute. Of course, I don't want to drift too much away from the positives of the last night, but I mean, it does show that we have got players that are capable of filling in for someone like Aaron Ramsey if he does go on to lead the club. But it's, yeah, I mean, there's a reason to be cheerful at Arsenal now. It's really exciting, and hopefully we can keep this winning run going. And, yeah, I mean, there's a work ethic, there's a mentality at Arsenal, and there's a new sense of belief amongst the supporters, which I think was the biggest thing that had to change this season, because last season people were going to the games and they were kind of knowing what to expect. Whereas now we go into these matches and we have no idea what to expect from Arsenal. We went 1-0 down yesterday, but it was almost worth going 1-0 down to see us come back in such a glamorous style. It's something that we've missed for so long. And the atmosphere at the Emirates last night was the best I've experienced it in a good long while. Just everyone going absolutely mental for those goals, just because we haven't seen it in so long. And it is so refreshing, and it is so good to see Arsenal playing in this manner. And all I can say is I hope we keep it up, because I mean, evidently we've got the potential. It's just a case of whether we've got the mentality and the strength to go and do it throughout the course of the season. But if we stay this close to the top, I don't want to talk about the league title at all, because that is going way too far. But if we are up there at Christmas, then there's no reason why we can't have high ambitions, just so long as we manage our expectations. But on that note, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Please do drop a like on the video. If you have enjoyed it, subscribe to ABC Game by Game. And as always, I'll speak to you very soon. See you later, guys.